Esports is an industry that historically thrived on grassroots effort. With franchise competitive circuits becoming more common in the industry, organically built communities are few and far between. Bronco Esports particularly has managed to create a community here at CPP that's extended past the campus onto the larger collegiate scope and has now even butted heads with major organizations in the industry. Now that production from the largest event of the organization, FragFest, has concluded, it was considered one of the best renditions of the event. This, of course, takes work. So, let's dive into what it takes to run one of the largest student organizations at CPP.
My name is Nicholas Yalda, and I am the current student president of Bronco Esports. I'm a fourth-year civil engineering major, and I'll be graduating in May. Been playing video games basically my whole life. Was introduced to games back when I was in probably elementary school or even earlier, playing games like Super Mario on the NES at my grandmother's house, and then I think I got my first console. It was like a DS Lite, maybe when I was 7 or so. Liked playing Pokemon a lot. Handful of other games, I don't remember what exactly it was called, but I think it was Prince of Persia, Pokemon, and Fire Emblem were like the big three that I played back then. And then as I got older, picked up more games. I think for me, things really kicked off around early middle school, maybe like 4th grade or so. I picked up Counter-Strike. Don't ask how a 4th grader picked up Counter-Strike, but I think I was playing with my cousin. Had this really like stupidly oversized red laptop. It could like barely run the game. I think I was maybe getting like 60 FPS, but as a probably 10-year-old, it was plenty for me. It was a lot of fun though, and I definitely fell in love with the game, competitive gaming as a whole. Because for so many years it was just Counter-Strike and Minecraft. I played nothing else for a very long time, and I still don't really play a lot of games. It's kind of just Counter-Strike at this point. I'll play a couple things here and there, but I mean, in any given calendar year, I play maybe 1 or 2 other games. I mean, just for competitive games, or at least playing games against other people, I think that kind of started when I was, I don't even know how old. I must have been like a really little kid. I would play a lot of Mario Kart on the 3D, or on the regular DS at my grandma's house. We'd go almost every weekend just to go see grandma. Me, my brother, and my cousins, we'd all go sit under this little table in like a spare bedroom. I don't know why we sat under the table. I just specifically remember we would sit under the table, eating bread, playing Mario Kart against each other, and I guess that lit some kind of competitive spirit in me because it went from Mario Kart into Smash Brothers Brawl, and then when Smash for the Wii U came out, I loved playing that with my friends, and like I just slowly started playing games with more and more people. And then, as I mentioned, picked up Counter-Strike with my cousin. First started playing with him, but he was way better than I ever was, so we couldn't really play too much together. So I started asking my friends at school if any of them wanted to play games with me on the computer. A couple of them did. Most of my friends were always on the consoles, though. A lot of Xbox. Back in the day, it was Xbox 360. Right around when high school started is when most of my friends started looking at gaming computers. At that point, I think I'd already built my own computer that I'd been playing on, mostly for Minecraft and Counter-Strike. And then I think it was sophomore year of high school is when Smash Brothers Ultimate came out. And that really just changed everything for me because I could bring my little Switch to school and play Smash Brothers in the hallway. And then eventually the school actually kind of got mad at us because we would crowd up hallways. There'd be like 8 or 9 people crowded around like a handful of Switches. They told us like, hey, we're not going to stop you from playing. You just need to go make a club, and then you can go play in a classroom. So we asked our history teacher. His name was Mr. Dilge, and he was super cool. He invited us into his classroom, started a club. We would host tournaments in there, like maybe once a month or around once a month, maybe at most 2. And it was like the most fun thing ever because we would bring monitors to campus. I mean, it's not too dissimilar from what we do today with Bronco Esports on Fridays. But we were just a bunch of high school students doing it. It was really hard to explain to my parents why I'm lugging a computer monitor to school. But yeah, I just really look back on that fondly. And that ultimately led me to starting an esports club for my high school because we learned that there were more organized events for high school students through the CIF for games like Rocket League and what was it? Rocket League, League of Legends, and Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think, were the 3 that the CIF held. And then we found a handful of other high school-based leagues. I think they were through a company called Play Versus, or I think Play Versus. They offered Valorant, which was the really big one. Like, people went crazy for that game. So in my senior year of high school, so going into senior year, we actually made a push to get the esports club that I'd started integrated with the PE department, because we were like, well, we're already playing in the CIF leagues, which all the other sports were, so why not? Like, we might as well integrate with the PE department, get people PE credit, because there was like a PE requirement for high school students, and I just had a ton of fun with it, because I wasn't very good at any of the games that we played. Like, I'm not very good at Smash Brothers, terrible at Rocket League. I don't even want to touch League of Legends. So I just kind of oversaw everything. It was just kind of like a management position. And I thought, hey, you know what, this is really fun. So when I went to college, I was like, okay, maybe it's my turn to kind of get on the other side of things. I want to be a player. And when I went to Cal Poly Pomona, I actually found it was like a little piece of paper. It was like a flyer for FragFest for fall 2021. And it was an online 1v1 tournament for Counter-Strike. And I'm like, okay, been playing this game for years. Let's enter this. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Like, worst case, I get dumpstered and I realize that I'm not actually any good at this game. Best case, I don't know, maybe I'll get like top 5 at the event and be like, hey, you know what, like, let me try out for the team. Signed up for that event, got second place, only losing to the best guy on the Cal Poly team, which was pretty crazy, because I shot the guy a message after the tournament was over. I was just like, hey, you're absolutely crazy at this game. Like, can I join the team? I'm super stoked. Like, did I miss the season, like, sign up or anything like that? And he said, yeah, I missed it for the fall season, but for spring, he like immediately put me down. I was like, worst case scenario, I'll be a sub for that team if I didn't have the time. And it all started from there. I joined the Counter-Strike team in spring of 22. Been playing on the team ever since, and it's been like the focal point of my social life in college.
I remember the day I was queued with him in a 5-stack, and we all hit global right after the same game. But I remember after that game, no matter how pissed anyone was, Nick was so hyped that we all managed to hit global at the same time and to get that like awesome screenshot of the lobby with everyone having that global tag. And I remember thinking like, oh, he's kind of like me in that sense, where he really just wanted that achievement, and maybe he yelled at somebody here and there, but that doesn't really determine how he feels about us. He just he is serious about this stuff, and just like how I'm serious with League and like my games that I'm very into.
I mean, I met so many great people, and as a commuter, it was always really hard for me to make friends, especially on campus, because I'm not here for too long. So being able to meet people online through the Counter-Strike team, it was just like really cool for me. My first team captain, his name was Brian. He was like the first guy on the team that I really opened up to. That guy's awesome. Like, I still talk to him today, even though he's been off the team for maybe about a year now. Still talk to him a lot, because he was just like a really cool guy. He introduced me to a handful of other dudes on the team, and it was just like, I didn't realize like how accepting the esports space would be, because I mean, here I am, just some like kind of nerdy freshman kid. I didn't know anyone. I didn't go to parties. I felt like I wasn't like a very cool person, but to them, I actually was someone pretty cool, because we all played the same game together, and that was like a shared interest that we could all really like latch onto. And it was just, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like, that team really meant a lot to me. And I think ultimately that's why I made a push to become the president of Bronco Esports, because I saw how impactful like just joining one team could be for someone like me that was a commuter. And I really wanted to make sure that other people could have that same opportunity that I did in building connections and getting to meet people, because I think these really are, these are some of my closest friends in all of college. So I'm really grateful that I was able to find them.
Yeah, besides being his coordinator and his like leader in the team, we quickly became friends. We even got to a point where he invited me to his house out in like Thousand Oaks area. We hung out during summer. We went out to eat. I would like meet his girlfriend, meet his parents. I even interviewed his parents, his dad, for a mechanical engineering ethics class. So we were pretty close. As he grew through the ranks, we kind of separated because our priorities kind of shifted. But I was always like proud to see that a person that I was recruiting, and I always had a feeling that he would become bigger than whatever he was when he started, grow into becoming the Bronco Esports president. Yeah, Nick is just that kind of guy. He's very likable. As a president, he sees this random game that doesn't have any support or is like distant from the rest of the games, and tries to bring them in, tells them what do they need so that he can provide for them.
So I started as a coordinator after maybe 3 seasons of playing on the Counter-Strike team, just as like a regular player. Coordinator is essentially the community head, or in our case, it's the team captain also doubles as the community head. And as the coordinator, it's your responsibility to work with the existing executive board of the club to ensure that whatever your specific community needs is not only heard, but then can be acted upon. So for example, when we want to register for a league and there's an entry fee, we talk to them, they'll get us reimbursed. Or if we want to go travel to an event, similar process, right? So as a coordinator, I ended up meeting the president at the time, had like a club fair. They sent a message like, hey, going to a club fair, we're going to be having a booth. We want different coordinators to come out, especially for the bigger titles, or those that are trying to like rebuild their teams, come out. You get to talk to the freshmen and all the other students that are going to be walking around. So I said, you know what, why not? I'll go. I ended up meeting the entire executive board that day. I had frankly only ever spoken to them a handful of times, just like to have them help me with registration and everything. And that really, so that was what kind of inspired me to join the executive board after that term. I'd kind of seen the direction things were going in, and I kind of wanted to change it a little. So then once I kind of expressed my interest in it, they kind of took me onto the board as a unofficial, I don't even know what my position could be considered. It was like on the Discord, it was actually called fake executive board, which is kind of funny. We still have a couple people with that role. Just basically the whole point is that if the e-board ever needs other voices to be like made or heard in the executive board meetings, it's a good place for people to get started. Now that I'm actually on the executive board as president, I mean, like everything changed. It's quite a bit more work than I ever expected. I feel like, so I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard it a handful of times, so I'm gonna pretend like it is because I feel like it's pretty cool. Apparently, Bronco Esports is the biggest single non-denominational club on campus, meaning that apart from, like discounting all of the religiously affiliated clubs, the ones that are all under a specific faith, we are the single biggest club. So managing an organization this big as a student is really challenging because the expectation is really high, not only by an expectation that I set for myself because this community means a lot to me, but it's also pretty high on the side of the university and also the side of our partners and sponsors, like these guys right here. So it can get pretty challenging because we are, at the end of the day, we're a student organization. We have very limited access to funding. Our ability to host events on campus is something that the university could take away from us at an absolute moment's notice. We're not really able to contest anything that they say. So we're definitely at their mercy for a lot of things. But that's why we got to do our best to follow the rules, make our intentions clear when we do things, work with the university when it comes to actually planning events so that if things ever go wrong, that number one, we can have backup plans set in place, and number two, generally to just try to avoid anything going wrong to begin with.
So while getting to know Nick more and more, I learned more about his past and why he's like into esports and why he wants to become president in the first place. And it all kind of stems from like him in like I think high school or middle school, where one of his teachers got like his teachers was like an esports like coordinator or like club owner at his old high school or middle school, And like without that teacher, he would not have like this initial drive or passion towards a competitive scene, a competitive landscape, like a competitive and spectating-based landscape like esports. So I knew that, and I knew that person also went to the event. So Nick was like really proud to show him around throughout FragFest. But I know since Nick, like he's super into CS, right? He's a big time. He's pretty big. He's pretty strong in the CS scene. I think same passion as for me goes towards for him. He wanted to make a landscape that's like big and grand for like just college students, and he really wanted to foster this community, the sense of esports community within like this side of Pomona. You don't really have that in Pomona.
You see it in him as a president. You just see him grinding all the time just to make sure everything's working smoothly for everybody else. Make sure that his like e-board's all good. Every single club coordinator's good. But you especially see it when he's talking to other teams. You can see the passion come out. He invites them like personally to join with Cal Poly Pomona and make like basically this conglomerate of a whole bunch of esports collegiate teams.
So I definitely put a lot more effort into these things than I probably should. Definitely eats up at my time, a lot more than I should let it. Definitely hard to manage everything, being a full-time student, especially a senior in engineering, and running a club like this, because I try not to let things go wrong under my supervision, if that makes sense. So, running club business it feels a lot like I'm actually running a small business at times. So there's a lot that I never had intended to get myself into, but I think it's pretty cool because it's not taught in any of my classes. So I feel like I'm building skills that I wouldn't have otherwise.
I find Nick to be a very crazy and inspiring leader. I like his work ethic. To me is really something special. It really feels like he's put in so much work, both as a president and also before president as a team lead or team player in his CSGO or CS2 team. He has a very special way of being able to reach out to so many different people, securing that Gen G connection. When he came over to USC for our USC Conquest game against UCLA, he even networked with our ASIS reps and continued talking with them afterwards, tried to secure a sponsorship. That unfortunately did not work out, but he's just such a personable person. Just really knows how to talk to people and get what he needs, make sure both sides are comfortable, and just really reading the room and understanding what work needs to be done, when it needs to be done. And it's also, I find it very unique and like amazing that he's willing to sacrifice a lot of the stuff he does academically in order to put more work into the esports club.
Now, if you look back at footage of me at FragFest, I probably looked or sounded like a mess. I definitely got I got comments a few times from my board members basically saying like, "Are you okay? Do you need to go home? Can I get you medicine?" Because I kind of overworked myself a lot for that event. That event meant a lot to me because it would be my final time running an event in college. It would be my final time competing at an event in college. And to me, that meant I had to take everything that I've learned and I really wanted to make it something special, something that I could say, like looking back on it in 5 years, something that I would still be proud of. And I'm confident to say, and I'm proud to say, that I think I was successful in reaching that goal. We had 446, I think, attendees according to Start.gg, so that's just active competitors. According to Eventbrite, I think we hit 667 attendees. Yeah, 667. We were laughing about that one afterwards. So 667 attendees were registered to show up live at the event. I don't know how many of them actually checked in because we kind of forgot to actually check that number, but I think it was definitely, or I can confidently say in all of my years attending FragFest, it was the biggest one I've ever seen. And at least according to Eventbrite, it's the third biggest event in our club's history, with this being the biggest one in like 5 years. So pretty proud of the outcome there. There were a lot of things that we were worried about going into it because FragFest has a formula to it. There's the in-person competition for the fighting games. On top of that, we had the rhythm games guys run their own event. And then on top of all of that, we decided that we really wanted to push for a LAN center, and that added Valorant, Counter-Strike 2, Rocket League, and Overwatch, which brought our total number of events that people were either able to compete and or spectate in for FragFest to 11, which was one of the more challenging things that we've done. We definitely overworked ourselves with a lot of things. I think the night before the event, I was on campus from, let's see, probably 5 p.m. to 3 in the morning, just setting things up. And it was crazy, seriously. Like the night before the event, there were probably like 20 of us just in a room, unpacking computers, plugging things in. I mean, you have footage of this. It was absolutely insane. Like I don't think FragFest prep has ever taken that long. At least in the 3 FragFests that I've been a part of, we've never had to do anything the day before, or let alone the day after. But yeah, FragFest Spring 2025 was probably the biggest event that I've ever been a part of, not even just with this club. Not to say that I've been working in other club events is the only thing I've done in high school, but I mean, like even with some of the engineering club events that I've attended, like this was still one of the biggest. I've never seen so many people on campus in like such a confined area. That's why my heart kind of sank when the fire alarm went off and kicked everyone out of the building around, I think it was like 2 p.m. or something. I was so upset. Because I was really afraid that the entire event was going to have to get canned in that moment. Because when I asked the university police department, like, hey, can we get the fire alarms off? We want to get people back in the buildings. They said they didn't have access to the switch. They needed I think they called it the fire keys or something that only like the head of facilities had. And they started calling a bunch of people. We were stuck outside for like 20, maybe 30 minutes. It was, man, my heart was beating out of my chest. Like I was so frustrated, but I had to try to keep a cool face because I think everyone was really frustrated in that moment. Thankfully, no one from Bronco Esports pulled the fire alarm. It wasn't anyone in any of our buildings. It actually was an issue over in one of the other buildings. So it all worked out for us, thankfully. But it definitely kind of gave me a heart attack. But yeah, spring 2025 was a big challenge, but it was also a great success.
Minus the fire alarm during FragFest, we both felt like that event was a really big success. For me, because I ran a lot of the FGC events, which is like half of the main events for FragFest, it was the biggest for collegiate SoCal FGC. So I was like, there's a lot of spotlights on my eyes. So I'm like, this better run smoothly, or I'm gonna look really bad for FGC. And it ran way too well for FGC for me, and that was surprising because we had a fire alarm going off midway through, and we still picked up the slack with our team. For Nick with the PC lounge, he was really proud that it looked honestly really nice. The whole gaming PC lounge, the team scrims and games against other schools went really well. He was really proud of that as well because he also had like his old teacher from high school pull up that got him into esports in the first place. So he really wanted to show him around the entire event, and thank God it went pretty smooth.
I, for the first time, got to actually compete in one of my own events at FragFest, competing in person, that is. I've competed in a handful of online ones, but I got to compete in Counter-Strike against Cal State San Marcos for their varsity team, and then against Cal State Long Beach, their varsity team as well. It was super fun. It was great to finally meet some of those guys because I've been competing against them for literally years now, and we all with the Counter-Strike scene, it's like a big family, or maybe not family, but like it's a big friend group. I'll say that. A lot of rivalries here and there, like namely on the Cal State Long Beach team, there's a guy named Nguyen. Two of us butt head lots online. It's pretty funny. I've always wanted to be on a team with him. Seems like it's like a mutual feeling. It's kind of funny to finally have had the opportunity to not only meet each other in person, but also compete in person. I don't know if there's any photos of it, but I remember there was one point, it was like the last round of the first game we played against them. I got like a crazy shot, just took Min's head clean off. I think I stood up and just pointed at him. I just started laughing when I sat back down. My teammates thought it was the funniest thing I've ever done. We won the game off that, which was super funny, and we lost the follow-up. It doesn't matter too much. We don't talk about that part. But yeah, it was really fun for me to like get to meet some of these people in person that I've spent literally the past year actively competing with and like talking to online. And like after the event was over, like I got tons of messages of people just saying like, hey, this was really cool. Like I'm super excited to see what they're able to do next year. Or, hey, can we get invited back next year? You guys are going to do the same thing again? Yeah, it was just, it's super fun. And then, as I said, it was something I was really proud of, and it's something I can say is, like, I can really say that is my event, in the sense that, like, everything that went into it was something that I kind of oversaw, or, like, every part of that event, I feel like I had a little bit of a hand in, so when things went well, I can like take part in the success in it, and when things went wrong, I can like try to learn from those experiences. We're not going to try to point fingers at people, and frankly, nothing really went wrong with that event. The only problem was kind of with the live stream, but I mean, our priority is the in-person attendee experience, and I think that was great. So I was just really proud of what we were able to accomplish with that event.
In terms of viewing how Nick approached this semester's Frag Fest and all the work that he put into it, at times I had a difficult time understanding why he was spending so much time with it, because during the time that he was planning Fragfest, sacrificing precious hours that he could have been studying, maybe doing work, I was studying very hard for my midterm season and stuff like that, while he was saying that he was trying to prepare for this very ambitious project that I didn't really even understand the scale of until I went and then saw all these PCs lined up. You know, we had like 2-3 auditoriums full of people with gaming rigs spread out here and there. Much different from past Fragfest, where, you know, it would usually just be one big auditorium, maybe a few PCs scattered around for Smash. And then obviously the bring your own rhythm game stuff. I really admire the scale of this Fragfest compared to like all the previous ones that I've attended, just because I know how much previous semesters were able to get in terms of the resources and the support for this event, and then just seeing it jump to so many more rooms, so many more setups, and also just so many more people, so much more structure.
No, that was, man, what an event. I mean, I still kind of think about it. Like, I'm a little upset that I'm not going to get to host anymore. Like, I, at one point in time, was kind of seriously considering adding a minor so that I could get another year here at Cal Poly. Because I don't really want to graduate, but I kind of gotta accept that that's happening. But like the high I felt that day when everything was over, and like just in that moment, like playing with my friends, that was like the coolest thing ever. I would do anything to go back to that day. Yeah, because it was fun. I'm with my friends, I'm competing, playing the game I like, and then when I see that other people are having a good time, I can kind of feel like, you know, like I did that, you know, and like I don't want to sound like egotistical or anything, but it's like everyone's having fun at the event that like I just spent the last 3 months planning, right? So to me, that was like a super rewarding feeling that not only am I having a great time, so is everyone else. And it was, I mean, man, it was so sick. I'd always wanted to host like some kind of LAN event for me and my friends, especially back in high school. We did it a couple times where like people would come together at like someone's house, and we'd all bring our computers and we'd try to play games together. And you know, sometimes it was better than others, right? There were some times we would host events like that, and it would work pretty well. We'd play games for an afternoon, but you know, the Wi-Fi might not have been the best, or you know, the computer hardware wasn't there, and like one person's kind of lagging behind, and then people get frustrated and whatever. It's not a big deal. But I'd always kind of wanted to host like an actual LAN event for myself and my friends to play Counter-Strike at, because it's probably pretty obvious. It's my favorite game ever. And I think FragFest kind of helped me reach that dream, because not only did we host a LAN event for FragFest, we had a streamer. His name was Regent. He came out to oversee the event and commentate all the matches for us. And I got to compete with my friends on my own team at Cal Poly. It's the guys I've been playing with for like 2 years now, because teams go in cycles. Obviously, we lost all the senior players that I started with. But it's a lot of younger guys now on the team with me. So I got to compete with them, and I love those guys. They're great friends of mine now. And not only did I get to compete with my friends, I got to play against more of them. As I said, I played against my friends over at Cal State Long Beach and the ones over at San Marcos. And so the fact that I got to compete against them at that event, I felt like really kind of checked off that box for me of saying, like, here's a LAN event, got to play with my friends, play against my friends, and there were no hurdles. Like, there was no, like, nothing really went wrong in terms of, like, attendee experience, or like the competitor experience, at least for that Counter-Strike event, right? Everyone had a good computer to play at. No one had connection issues. Like, it was just like pure fun for like 4 hours that day. And it was, as I said, like I want to do it again, but I don't think I'll have the opportunity, unfortunately. But we'll see what happens in the future.
But after this whole thing with Bronco Esports, we're both like, maybe we could do a bit more with esports going forward, like a little bit more. I know Nick is on his way out. He's about to graduate, so like, I don't know what he's gonna do. Maybe he'll do something with esports, maybe with event organizing, but he wants to get back into competing. But that passion's just back now, because, you know, like, you watch the competition, you're like, I want to play again, you know? Same goes for me. I'm here for a minute, so I'm here for a minute still at school. I'm probably be here for maybe a few more years, but like, after this school academic year of Bronco Esports, I'm like, wow, I really want to do more with esports after you see competing and whatnot. But I'm still a bit unsure if I want to like focus on that. But I know for Nick, he wants to like go a bit in both.
I've met a lot of really great people in Bronco Esports. A lot of people that I really hope I can stay in contact with. I already talked about like Brian and a lot of the guys from the Counter-Strike team. Like I have some guys like Kevin or Kenneth or Aaron, who's graduating with me this year, or even like the people that have already graduated, like my friend Alex or Nathan. Like, I know that I haven't really mentioned them earlier in the interview, but if you were on the Counter-Strike team, these names should be familiar to you. I mean, like, these are some really like important people for me in like my college career, in that like these were some of my closest friends, right? So these past 4 years, I owe a lot to them. Like, from the Counter-Strike team alone, they were some of my biggest supporters when I said, like, hey, you know what, I kind of want to try to step up and join the executive board. And then once I got onto the executive board, I met a lot of great people there too, like Evan and Rob, or Victoria and Kevin, who were interviewed in like just a couple episodes, or like just in the last episode for Valorant. And then like looking at the people that I've met like on my current executive board as president, we've got people that I probably never would have interacted with them otherwise, but now they're like, I really like these people. We got Josh, my scheduler, a great dude. Like someone like me and Josh, had I not joined the executive board, would have never crossed paths. He was the former Counter-Strike coordinator when he was an undergrad. Like, Josh is a graduate student at Cal Poly Pomona, and also the current TF2 coordinator as well as a scheduler. But like, I would have never crossed paths with that guy. But I think he's really cool. Like, I actually really do enjoy talking to Josh. He's like, whenever I'm curious about like, hey, like, I have this idea for the club, like, can you tell me, like, has this ever been done before? Or like, what should we do, like, to try to improve on some of the past things? He can tell me like what people have tried in the past, and then I can say, okay, it's worth revisiting that idea. Or, hey, you know what, Josh just saved me like 3 days worth of planning. Right, and that's super cool. And he's also just really smart, like a really technically versed guy when it comes to computers. He was super helpful when it came to setting up FragFest. So I'm really grateful to Josh. Then there's Jerwin, the director of competition. Like, I've gotten close with that guy. He's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things that he can do that I have absolutely no clue how he does it, especially with maintaining like good relationships with a lot of like the more professional side of the industry, specifically within fighting games. Like, he knows people at Capcom, he knows people that are hosting like professional style tournaments. Like, I mean, this guy gets his own sponsors for the events, handles everything all on his own, and you would have never known it if you didn't ask him about it. I think that's really cool. And he's doing all this while being a mechanical engineer. And it's just like, really chill dude, a lot of fun to talk to and hang out with. And I see that he has like a very similar drive for the esports club as I, except his enjoyment in like his sector of the club is a lot more in the fighting game side of things, where I take the kind of the rest of everything, like with the computer games. And I think that makes us like a really good team right there. Like Jerwin and I did a lot of the, I don't want to say we did a lot of the heavy lifting for FragFest, but like almost all of the tournaments were like overseen by the two of us. He did all 4 of the fighting game tournaments for FragFest, except he didn't touch the Smash Brothers stuff. That's a little beyond him. He leaves that to them. He leaves that to the Smash communities. And then I oversaw all of the like the LAN titles. That was all like making sure that those would actually run was kind of like on me. All the sponsors involved with the LAN titles were things that I kind of oversaw or had like Rachel help me with this year. So, I mean, yeah, like moving into Rachel, like she's been, like I won't lie, like I'm really impressed with what she's been able to do. Because here's Rachel, someone who previously had no experience with Bronco Esports beyond just the, so she was a marketer within the club. The club has not only the competitive side of things, we also have to have like a social media presence. And I mean, most of the executive board, like I think it like, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'd be willing to bet that out of every executive board member ever for this club, there have probably only ever been 2 or 3 that weren't people that were directly involved with or like community coordinators for like an existing competitive team. So for someone like Rachel to come in just as a marketer and like be confident enough in herself to say, hey, I want to go for vice president of this club. I mean, I thought that was really awesome. I remember I sat in on her interview when she applied to the board, and like immediately I told Evan, the guy that was doing the interview with me, I was like, she should be the vice president. Like she knows, like she has a clear idea of where she wants to take things. A lot of our ideas like greatly aligned with what direction we wanted to take the club in, and she's very diligent in her work, and she's also a super fast learner. Like there's almost like I know it sounds like I'm glazing, but like I mean at times I was kind of questioning like should she be president instead of me? Because there's a lot of things that she can do that I don't understand at all. Like especially when it comes to things like social media, everything would leave it to her because I don't know how it works. I don't know how to like run a good social media page. I don't know how to pick people to like lead content creation. I don't know how to make designs myself. Like anything that I made within graphic design for the club always came from a template that she made first, right? So a lot of the things that I had done that I was kind of like proud of that went beyond my typical experience or like my typical like workload within the club, like would not have been possible without her. So I'm super grateful that she was not only a part of the board this semester, but has also like stepped up to be the president next time, and she won the election for it. So she'll be the next president of Bronco Esports, and I think she's going to do a really, really good job. So I'm really hoping that I can stay in touch with her. I mean, I'm really curious to see what she's able to do with this club going forward. I'd love to come back and see the next FragFest or see what other kind of events that she has planned up, because I mean, like she's not even president. I mean, like technically she's not even president yet, and she's already starting to plan events. And I'm like, that's perfect. Like that's exactly what you want to see when you're passing off a club like this. And then especially for me, where this club has meant so much to me, to know that it's in good hands is just like, I mean, I couldn't really ask for anything more. So yeah, like I'm really glad that I've met so many good people, so many like really hardworking people within this club, and I'm really glad that I can call almost all of them my friends today.
That's going to be all, Broncos. Let us know what you thought of this final episode of our Bronco Esports documentary down in the comments. Were you ever part of the organization, or do you maybe have any experience with collegiate esports? And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. But as always, this has been Scotty Ninh with the Polypost. Thanks for watching.